Alright guys, what's up? I'm back with another video, and some big things just happened and I'm like really nervous about it. As you can see, my whole steering column is gone. Whole thing is gone, right? Gearbox is still here, but everything else steering wise is just gone. And the reason for that is me and one of my boys, we was about to fix the turning signals for it because the little mechanism broke. And as you know, if you watch one of my other videos, I had a Toyota Prius electric power steering motor. So my boy, he's the one that convinced me to get it. He actually put one in his 67 El Camino, right? So he has complete electric power steering for his, and I have one laying around. So he was like, let's just put it in here. So yeah, today I was just gonna do the turning signals, and he left with my whole steering column. I am very nervous. I'm not very good at electrical stuff. He, on the other hand, he has a whole electrical engineering degree and he knows what he's doing. So he took his measurements, he took the column, and he said, well, he can put it together and we will put this thing back in here. Just drop it right there.
Yeah.
Just to secure that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
foam line.
Still gonna be using the stock shaft pretty much. We're just gonna be basically splicing in the Prius motor in there with the ECU. And the ECU is super easy to wire in from what he's telling me. Didn't you say it's only like 2 or 3 wires?
Yeah. It's this wire not here, but the ECU itself.
Yeah.
So it is this number 6 wire. You just put power to this. This is ignition, and then this black and white's negative. This is positive. She turns. She works. You know, all you do is just put the power from here. It goes around the motor. This is for the sensor. This is torque sensor. And that torque sensor will plug into there. It lets it know when you're actually turning and to add extra power on the other end.
All right.
Super simple.
He also made this little bracket, you know, because he got some welding skills, I guess. Nah.
Probably the best welding skills.
I don't know about all of that, but you know,
$30 an hour.
they're decent. They're decent skills.
Seen them videos online?
Now, mind you, this is his 67 El Camino that he already put electric power steering in from a Prius. Oh, what was yours from?
It's from a 08 Corolla.
It was an 08 Corolla, my bad. But he decided to take the whole column. And so he has the blinkers from a Corolla and everything in there. And this thing drives. I mean, he blew up his transmission trying to keep up with me. But, you know, that thing runs good.
High-end work, high precision work.
The master of eyeballing.
Master of eyeballing. That looks right.
That looks all right.
How far can you eyeball? About 10 floors. After that, it starts to lean. So the tricky part of this is it has to sit on that first.
There you go. It's in there now.
About 11 1/4.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Oops.
This is pretty much what this part is going to look like with the new U-joint. This is like the newer style universal joints. A lot of people see this on like the older cars, but they don't really know what they are. This is basically their older style U-joint. You can see you can move it around in there. It's just filled up with some grease. But that's what we have now, and then it's kind of adjustable as well because of this little shaft. You can bring it up and down, but I think it's looking pretty good so far. Alright, so here's an update. Here is the original steering column. We also shaved down where the what is it called, the little column shifter was right here. Here's where the light was. Like I said, this is the original OEM one. We just took all the paint off. You can see some still down there, but here is the power steering motor. As you can see, what we're trying to do is get this thing to where it's like fully seated and everything. Right now the whole system is connected, but we need a little bit of metal added to one of the links, so it's like only like an inch and a half, maybe even 2. But another thing we're trying to do is figure out how to get the this thing to clear the brake pedal really nice. What we can do, what we've been seeing, is just move this thing over to the side like this, and we can see, as you can see right here, it's still really close to that pedal. If you look on the other side a little bit, you can kind of see it. So might wallow out the steering column hole a little bit just to push it up further and get it more out the way. But as you can see, it's pretty much connected down here at the column, like the OEM style. It's not fully seated down there. We still have to push it down some more. That's why we said we have to add a little bit more of the length. And also up here where we have this variable right here where it's adjustable, it's like kind of maxed out. So the plan is to add about 2 inches to here, because this is also not fully seated, this is maxed out, and this is not fully seated. So that's all we really have to do. We already have extra parts of the column right here to just cut and add. So that's pretty much the plan. It's looking really good so far though. It's looking really promising. So I'll give you an update in a second.
Early the next morning.
Alright, so we are trying to see how everything mounts up right now. We have the steering wheel on just to see the placement. Right now the motor is just kind of sitting here, but it's gonna come like all the way over to the side like this. Only issue is we bled the brakes to see how it clears the brakes, and it barely touches, like it rubs a little bit. So what we're thinking is to actually go get some thick steel, cut the brake pedal and like C-notch it, and then go back down to the same spot, so that way the actual pedal itself is gonna sit in the same spot and it clears the brake pedal. Only thing that we're kind of concerned about at this point is just the rigidity of the actual pedal. But if we get some thick enough metal and, you know, we use some high heat, I think it should be good. But everything else is just kind of getting the steering wheel placement back to factory with the U-joint, because with the U-joint, if we move it over too far, this part, the original part, is going to be like hitting the control arm. So we're trying to get the placement very correct for this. Also, we're going to have to extend this like 2 inches, just because this is not fully seated. This is as like it's max length, and it's still not really even covering it. So yeah, we also, as you can see, we was making a bracket. My bad. We were making a bracket right here for the inside for the actual motor. But that's pretty much the only thing that's really stopping us from getting this thing perfect right now, is because I'm super picky about that thing touching the brake pedal. So yeah, other than that, I mean, we're all good. So all right, we've been working at this thing all day and we finally are getting somewhere. So we had the whole thing where it was gonna be looking like it was gonna mount to the floor, right? But the brake pedal was a big issue. It kept hitting the brake pedal. So instead of that, we scrapped that whole idea and we decided to mount it pretty much straight under the dash. So you can see it right there. And it's right under there. We got it held up by a jack stand because we're trying to make brackets for it. But that is pretty much how it's gonna go. Still gonna look factory from the outside. We're still gonna have the U-joint. The only thing that looks not factory on the engine bay. And yeah, this has been a little pain in the ass, but we're finally getting somewhere. Nice. Yeah. So here's the bracket we just mounted up and made to get this thing in. But that's everything right there. All right, so some time has passed by and we got the whole brake assembly out and also the instrument cluster out because we couldn't get this thing out without taking the instrument cluster out. So here is the bracket up close and pretty much the finished product of it right there. Here's how everything looks. Wanted to make sure this thing was reinforced, so we added some pretty thick metal in there. I think it's gonna be very good. The welds seem pretty good, so this is how it's pretty much gonna sit. I think that's gonna be good. All right, so now this is the finished product right here. We boxed in pretty much everything. This thing is really secure. Also, we had took out the little rubber stopper just to make sure we didn't melt it whenever we was welding this stuff up. It's a lot of spatter, but I'm not too worried about it because you're never gonna see it. So yeah, that is what it looks like. This thing is finally mounted. Steering wheel, you know, is here. Electric motor is in here. It's all mounted up. No budging. Really solid welds. It looks good. You can see the two bolts. That's one, and then the other one's on the other side. You can see our bracket coming down from it as well. This is going to be a really good setup. So everything looks good right now. Now all we got to do is cut this back off again and extend it. And
of course, a fresh cut too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a brand new cut, and we're gonna extend it to where it comes out of the little hole right here, and then it's gonna come in right here, and that's it. All right, another day's work, man. So this thing is fully mounted, motor's fully mounted, and the rest of the column is actually attached to the gearbox. So right now, this thing is at manual steering. The only reason it's manual is because we have not hooked up the ECU. But this thing works good. Just for at least being manual, it still don't feel as hard as regular manual steering, which is weird. Right? So here's how everything looks. And the engine bay side, y'all already seen what it looks like from the cabin. You can't really notice a difference, right? So this is like the stock little steering shaft, right? Only thing that's different is this, universal. That's the only thing that looks different. I apologize that this video is taking so long to make, and this might be a little bit of a longer video, but keep in mind this is 100% custom. All it is that we're doing is, I can guarantee you, never been done before in this car, in one of these cars. This is Toyota Prius electric power steering in a 1964 Chevy Impala Belair Biscayne. It's all custom. You can go buy a kit. You can go buy a kit for I think it's like $2,000 for a 64 Impala electric power steering kit. It's $2,000. Mind you, I am less than $300 in on this setup, and we're almost done. All we have to do is wiring now. And the most of that price is because we actually did so much test fitting on one of the electric steering motors that we messed it up from welding too much on it. We were just testing stuff out, you know, welding on it and whatnot. This one is a brand new one, and we didn't even have to weld on it because we figured out a way to do it without it. So this thing is splined in. There's no welding on it. If I need to replace it, all I have to do is pull the little steering shaft out and it will come right out. This is literally the perfect setup. And I think it looks really good right here. Not painted, so I think I'm gonna clear coat that thing. Just brush metal color. All right, there you go. Now, should it work now?
Well, once you flip that switch down there.
Oh.
Well, actually, here's a good. I'll flip it for you.
All right.
Go ahead and be doing this.
All right.
Feel how much tension there is. Ready?
Yeah. Still the same.
Okay, now try it.
Whoa. Whoa. That is a huge difference. Insane difference. Dude. Hold on. I'm gonna have you do it real quick. Look at this, guys.
Yeah, that feels pretty good.
Yeah, it feels really good.
All electric motor doing all that work.
It's a lot of work.
What do you think?
That's pretty good.
I'm not gonna take it all the way over the pot to lock because we haven't shortened the wiring up yet. I don't want to overheat anything.
Okay. Dang, that's good.
So,
all right, we got it running right now. Steering works. We're just gonna pull it out. Feels so weird being. Feels super weird. Not used to it. But it feels really nice.
Yeah, the car doesn't have to be running.
Yeah, I know. I just need to run it anyway. So everything's up to par, everything's working. As you can see, here is the actual steering motor, and then we put this little plate in. We do have to wallow out the hole just a hair, and we're gonna put a bearing in there, but this is the whole setup right here. I think it looks phenomenal. Here's his car. he has the electric steering in his, but he has the whole Corolla steering column, and then he has, you know, the tilt and whatnot, because he wanted to be all fancy. I wanted mine to look factory, so, you know, he thinks he's all cool because he got that. But still, same thing. He has the same steering motor. Everything is mine. Here it is right here. Car is on. Dude, it is a game changer. This is a huge game changer. Feels really good. Really good. My ECU for it is right here. I might have to relocate it once I actually get my radio set up. But, I mean, it's only one little ECU. It's not too bad at all. Everything works good. It works with the car on and with the car off. We just got to hook up the brake light switch, which we already have the bracket for. It's made. Yeah. You think it's smoother? Oh, it is. So he said the setup that we did on mine is smoother than his. Mind you, he built both of these because I did not know what I'm doing. So he built both of these. Is it in neutral?
Yeah.
I was thinking about cranking it up. But man, this thing feels good too. It might just be because you're like in the grass. I don't know. But yeah. But here's his. Alright. His is also LS swapped. We put an LS in his as well. Here's his motor though. Me and his look completely different. As you can see, I gave him my old headers. You know, I gave him just some little things like that. But aluminum radiator, he used the truck intake. He shaved it himself. All that. That sounds really good. Oh, he also built his own X-pipe for it. So his has an X-pipe. Cam is almost the same specs as mine, but slightly different. And mine, true duals, 2.5. He has glass packs on his. I don't know what exhaust mine is, but both of these cars are coming together really quick, really quick. Well, I'm probably gonna end the video here. We got to do a little bit of touching up on it, but for the most part, everything's in. All the electrical is pretty much done. Yeah, so pretty much all the electrical for it is pretty much done. We had the steering rack done. So if you guys like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I probably will make a more in-depth video. Have him probably come over and talk about it a little bit. But yeah, see you guys on the next one.